Are you seeing this? Check it out! The college has got so many books here. I've never been to a proper library before. We kind of had one back on the island, but can you compare that to this?
Was there
To
something
think,
specific you needed?
all the countless books they have stored here. The
whatever I
decades, the
require will
eras of
be
knowledge.
on its own, in
The
due
tales
time.
of stories of heroes of old, fables, legends, all sorts of
Oh, my
narratives.
dear Urag, you're trying
I know
so
we have
hard to help.
important things to
I
do,
do hope
but
you're not
don't you think it would be a good idea if we'd relax here for a bit?
Colette.
Just browse what they have to offer. And you don't have to keep dawdling there like a thrall. Come on, see if there's anything you'd like to read. Not bad, not bad. I feel like I could spend ages in here. Or, I have an even better idea. Cast a pocket reality spell and take all these books with me. Time flows differently in Oblivion, so that would mean I could read all these books without a care in the world. Though, that would require me knowing that spell, which I don't. I just know someone mentioned it to my mom once. Ugh. Of course I am. And I take that as a compliment. But could I just finish up this book real quick? It's about some Dwemer schematics. Really interesting. Well, just give me a second. Huh. Dwemer recipe to create an ancilla. Mechanical intelligence. The first one... Cortana, it was called. Which was then inserted into a Dwemer exoskeleton, linking the user with this ancilla. Interesting. And I'm done. All right.
Restoration is a perfectly valid school of magic, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I don't want to see you treating any of these books poorly. Are we clear? And what do you plan to do with it? Do you even know what you're asking about? I knew it. Everyone comes in here expecting my help, but they don't even have the proper questions. An Elder Scroll is an instrument of immense knowledge and power. To read an Elder Scroll, a person must have the most rigorously trained mind, or else risk madness. Even so, the Divines usually take the reader's sight as a price. The simplest way to put it is knowledge, but there's nothing simple about an Elder Scroll. It's a reflection of all possible futures and all possible pasts. Each reader sees different reflections through different lenses and may come away with a different reading. But at the same time, all of it is true, even the falsehoods, especially the falsehoods. It would take a month to explain to you how that very question doesn't even make sense. The scrolls exist here, with us, but also beyond and beneath, before and after. They are bits of divine-made substance, so we could know them. Sorry, talking about the scrolls, you usually end up in irritating and vague metaphors like that. Some people who study them devoutly go mad.
Why should I want anything? Why can't I
Ah.
simply be sociable?
You
with
think
my
that even if I
colleagues?
did have one here, I would let you see it?
Well then,
It would be kept under the highest
have a nice
security.
day.
The greatest thief in the world wouldn't be able to lay a finger on it. I don't know who told you that, but I'll do what I can. What we do have are plenty of books. I'll bring everything we have on them, but it's not much. So don't get your hopes up. It's mostly lies, leavened with rumor and conjecture. All right then. Here you go. Try not to spill anything on them. Are you looking for any specific volumes, Travis?
Oh, no. No, not really. I've forgotten what I was looking for.
Ah, well then. Let me know if you need anything.
What's that? Oh, yes, thank you. I will.
Aye, that's the work of Septimus Signus. He's the world's master of the nature of Elder Scrolls, but, well, he's been gone for a long while. Too long. Somewhere up north, in the ice fields. He said he found some old Dwemer artifact, but well, that was years ago. Haven't heard from him since.
There's so much magicka that I can feel here. It's great.
When the top level was built, no more could be placed. It was and is the maximal apex. The ice entombs the heart, the bane of Kagranak and Degolthur. To harness it is to know the fundaments. The Dwemer lockbox hides it from me. The Elder Scroll gives insight deeper than the deep ones, though, to bring about the opening. I have seen enough to know their fabric, the warp of air, but no, it is not in my possession. Here, well, here as in this plain, Mundus, Tamriel, nearby, relatively speaking. On the cosmological scale, well, it's all nearby. One block lifts the other. Septimus will give what you want, but you must bring him something in return. You see this masterwork of the Dwemer, deep inside their greatest knowings. Septimus is clever among men, but he is but an idiot child. Lucky then they left behind their own way of reading the Elder Scrolls. In the depths of Black Reach, one yet lies. Have you heard of Black Reach? Cast upon where Drimmer's city slept, the yearning spire hidden learnings kept. Under deep, below the dark, the hidden keep, Tower Mzark. Oftand, the point of puncture, of first entry, of the tapping. Delve to its limits, and Black Reach lies just beyond. But not all can enter there. Only Septimus knows the hidden key to loose the lock, to jump beneath the deathly rock. Two things I have for you, two shapes, one edged, one round. The round one for tuning. Dwemer music is soft and subtle, and needed to open their cleverest gates. The edged lexicon for inscribing. To us, a hunk of metal. To the Dwemer, a full library of knowings, but empty. Find Mazark and its sky dome. The machinations there will read the scroll and lay the lore upon the cube. Trust Septimus. He knows you can know.
Sella, let's just get out of here. Hasn't there been enough death?
Of course you want me to leave. Just waiting for me to turn my back, so you can have all the glory.
Your flair for destruction magic is kind of electrifying.
ドワーフたちは忽然と姿を消した。この場を見ると、とても信じられません。魂のハスクは食べられますのね。いくら身近な聞くと言っても食欲をそそられません。少し油の匂いがいたしますわね。これだけの金属をどうやって手に入れたのかしら。
Wow, just sensing your.
この城はもありまして。
We heading out? I'll head back home if you need me.
血が欲しくなったら獣人たちを使って。彼らはそのためにいるのですから。
Yes, how may I serve you, my lady? I am afraid I won't be able to help you with the scrolls any longer, milady. Please do not be angry with me. I'm afraid in my haste to read the first scroll, I neglected the time I needed to prepare. The failure is purely mine to bear. As you can see from my bandages, it's not that I am unwilling, it's that I am physically unable. Oh, please, milady, please forgive me. If only such a miracle existed, I'd overcome the impossible in order to secure it, if it meant pleasing you. Although I would gladly die by your hand, perhaps I could offer an alternative way to read the scrolls. Oh, thank you, milady. Thank you. Scattered across Tamriel are secluded locations known only as Ancestor Glades. There's one in Skyrim in the Pine Forest. Performing the ritual of the Ancestor Moth within the glade should provide the answers you seek. It involves carefully removing the bark from a canticle tree, which will in turn attract ancestor moths to you. Once enough of the moths are following, they'll provide you with the second sight needed to decipher the scrolls. In keeping with tradition, you must use a specific tool in the Ancestor Glade, an implement known as a draw knife. Every moth priest is taught this ritual, but few ever get the chance to perform it. You should consider yourself fortunate if it works for you. From what I saw in the vision, the Elder Scroll which foreshadows the defiance of the gods with the blood of mortals is the key to the prophecy. Sadly, yes. It is the inevitable fate we agree to pursue when reading the Elder Scrolls. It generally does not occur until a moth priest is in his latter years, but in my case, I simply was not preparing myself properly. Deciphering one of the Elder Scrolls is nothing like reading a simple book. There is quite a bit of ritual and concentration required. It can take months or even years to complete a single scroll, and even then, months to recover. Well, as I'm sure you figured out by now, it's no mere coincidence that we're named Moth Priests. The voice of the Ancestor Moth has always been an integral part of reading the Elder Scrolls. Oh, the moths don't literally read the scrolls, but they maintain a connection to ancient magic that allows the moth priests to decipher them. If you listen closely when you find the glade, you should be able to hear their song, a soft, harmonious trilling. It's through this ancestral chorus that the moths tap into a form of primal augur and become a conduit for deciphering the scrolls. By having the ancestor moths close to the moth priest, they can utilize the conduit and share the moth's augury. Only the most resilient of priests can do it this way. It takes years of practice to interpret the harmony. You've come this far, and you've found several Elder Scrolls. Whether you believe it or not, the scrolls have a mind of their own. If they did not want you to find them, they would not allow it. Because of this, I strongly believe you were meant to hear the ancestral chorus. Only one way to find out. Fortune smile upon you, my...
カルクリースは死を司る神。アーケイのお気に入りの場所。面白い説ですわね。
What now? I kind of expected it to be more gloomy here, considering that this is the place where a lot of dead are buried and all. It seems like the people here don't let death bog them down. I admire that. This must be the place. very impressive, is it? If this ends up being a wasted trip, your friend Dexian and I are going to have some words when we get back. Wow. Look at this place. No one's been here in centuries. I doubt there's any other place like it in Skyrim. It's beautiful. Well, we got the knife. Now all we need to do is track down one of those canticle trees. Hope the moths like that bark as much as Dexian said they would. Look at them. They've definitely taken a liking to you. And unless I'm seeing things, you're starting to glimmer. Whoa. I think that might have been what we were waiting for. Let's head back up there and see if we can read the scrolls. Are you okay? Almost thought I lost you there. You went as white as the snow. I never trusted those damn scrolls. Who knows what those things could have done to you? Just look at Dexian. What about Ariel's bow? Do you know where we can find it? Then, it's almost over. We can finally rewrite the prophecy as we see fit. Where is this Darkfall cave? Then let's get going. I want to get there before my father has a chance to track us down. Every corner of Skyrim seems to hide a surprise, doesn't it? Or a bandit. But hey, that's half the fun. Let's see what's next.
love a good fight. That's all you got. Bruce, run! Think you can take me?
ダークフォール洞窟ってどんなところかしら。やったり暗くてジメジメしているのかしら。
Come forward. You have nothing to fear. I am Knight Paladin Gelabor. Welcome to the great chantry of Auriel. Auriel, Alkosh, Akatosh, so many different names for the sovereign of the Snow Elves. I prefer Snow Elf. The name Falmer usually holds a negative meaning to most travelers. Those twisted creatures you call Falmer, I call the Betrayed. Of course, you're here for Auriel's bow. Why else would you be here? I can help you get it, but first, I must have your assistance. For the thousands of years I've served as the Chantry's Sentinel, there hasn't been a single visitor here for any other reason. They request Auriel's bow, and I request their assistance. It's been repeated so many times, I can't imagine it any other way. I need you to kill Archcurate Vertha, my brother. The kinship between us is gone. I don't understand what he's become, but he's no longer the brother I once knew. It was the Betrayed. They did something to him. I just don't know why Auriel would allow this to happen. They swept into the Chantry without warning, and began killing everyone without pause. The Chantry was a place of peaceful worship. I led a small group of paladins, but we were no match for the Betrayed's sheer number. They slaughtered everyone, and stormed the inner sanctum where I believe they corrupted Vertha. He's alive. I've seen him, but something's wrong. He never looks as though he's in pain or under duress. He just stands there and watches, as though waiting. Leaving the way shrines unguarded would be violating my sacred duty as a Knight Paladin of Auriel, and an assault on the Betrayed guarding the inner sanctum would only end with my death. Yes, let me show you.
This is snow elf magic. Incredible.
This structure is known as a way shrine. They were used for meditation and for transport when the Chantry was a place of enlightenment. Prelates of these shrines were charged with teaching the mantras of Auriel to our initiates.
What's that basin in the center signify?
Once the initiate completed his mantras, he'd dip a ceremonial ewer in the basin at the way shrine's center and proceed to the next way shrine.
So, these initiates had to lug around a heavy pitcher of water. Months. How long would they have to do that?
Well, once the initiate's enlightenment was complete, he'd bring the ewer to the Chantry's inner sanctum. Pouring the contents of the ewer into the sacred basin of the sanctum would allow him to enter for an audience with the Archcurate himself.
All that just to end up dumping it out? Makes no sense to me.
It's symbolic. I don't expect you to understand.
So, let's get this straight. We need to do all that nonsense to get into the temple, so we can kill your brother and claim Auriel's bow?
I know how it all sounds. But if there was another way, I'd have done it long ago.
I never
The
really
only way to get to my brother is by following in the Initiate's footsteps and traveling from way shrine to way shrine, just as they did. The first lay at the end of Darkfall Passage, a cavern that represents the absence of enlightenment. There are 5 in total, spread far apart across the Chantry. Caves? Oh no. The Chantry encompasses far more than a few caves, as you'll soon discover. But before I send you on your way, you'll need the Initiate's ewer. Once you've located a way shrine, there'll be a spectral prelate tending to it. They will allow you to draw the waters from the shrine's basin, as if you... This may be the last time we're able to converse. Otherwise, all I can do now is grant you my hopes for a safe journey. Questions? I expected as much. This is, or was, the epicenter of our religion. Most of the Snow Elf people worshipped Auriel. The Chantry was constructed near the beginning of the First Era to provide a retreat for those that wished to become enlightened. Our empire had temples to some of the other deities. Trinimac, Serabane, Yffrey, and Finister rounded out the rest. But those temples paled in comparison to the glory of the Chantry and its way shrines. Oh yes, they were an important part of the process here. They represented the steps the Initiates took on the path to total enlightenment. Sadly, the magic used to construct these wonders were lost long before I arrived here. We were once a wealthy and prosperous society that occupied a portion of Skyrim. Unfortunately, we were constantly at war with the Nords, who claimed the land as their ancestral home. In a manner of speaking, we had always maintained an uneasy alliance with the underground-dwelling dwarves, and when faced with extinction, we turned to them for help. Surprisingly, they agreed to protect us, but demanded a terrible price: the blinding of our race. There were splinter groups that resisted the agreement, and even some that sought alternate alliances. But when it was all said and done, those elves were either slaughtered, vanished, or gave up and took the dwarves' bargain. I've often asked myself that very same question. The blinding of my race was supposedly accomplished with a toxin, certainly not enough to devolve them into the sad and twisted beings they've become. May Auriel light your path. The Chantry is quite isolated, so it took some time for word of the dwarves' offer to reach us here. By the time the compact had been completed, it was too late for us to even attempt to intervene. Correct. We only numbered perhaps 100 at the time, so our presence remained a secret to the dwarves and the Nords. Ironically, our undoing came at the hands of our own people. Yes, they swarmed the Chantry in vast numbers. I assume that the Archcurate was corrupt. Verther and myself are the only 2 snow elves that remain. May Auriel keep you free from harm.
That wasn't as unpleasant as I thought it would be. Kind of soothing, actually. I feel a little warmer now. Yes? Not much. If you read any history, it shows up from time to time, but it's a hard thing to track. As far as I know, though, it's never been held by a vampire. That would be a new one. Ariel is one of the elven gods. He's with the rest of them in Aetherius. The way I've heard it, the sun represents the connection from our world to theirs. Supposedly, the bow draws its energy from the sun itself, which is why it shows up in that prophecy. That part, I don't know. Once we have it, hopefully, it'll be obvious. Very well. Chains and traps. Be careful. Whatever's on the other side of this, the Falmer want to keep there. It almost doesn't even look real, you know?
Welcome, Initiate. This is the Way Shrine of Illumination.
Here we go.
Are you prepared to honor the mantras of Ariel and fill your vessel with his enlightenment? Then behold Ariel's gift, my child. May it light your path as you seek tranquility within the inner sanctum.
カニスの名はお茶になりそうですけれど、
This is the
飲む
Way
人の気が
Shrine
知れ
of
ません。
Illumination.
麻痺の薬の材料ですね。
Are you prepared to honor the mantras of Ariel and fill your vessel with his enlightenment?
This is incredible. It's like a whole other world. Come on, the bow has to be in this valley somewhere.
You found the Way Shrine of Radiance, Initiate. Are you prepared to honor the mantras of Ariel? May the blessings of Ariel protect you as you climb the road to the inner sanctum and finally light.
ここならノアゴを呼んでみても。
You found the Way Shrine of Radiance, Initiate. Are you prepared to honor the mantras of Ariel? And fill your vessel with his enlightenment.
Harmedo, 錬金術に使うくらいでしたら耳で十分ですわ。
The bow has to be in. These Falmer, they're frozen in the ice. I wonder how long they've been like this. And I thought the soul cat was cool.
Did you really come here expecting to claim Ariel's bow? You've done exactly as I predicted and brought your fetching companion to me.
Wait, is he talking about me?
Which, I'm sorry to say, means your usefulness is at an end.
Come on.
That's enough out of here.
You have my back.
This was too easy.
An impressive display, but a wasted effort. You delay nothing but your own deaths.
Watch out! He's pulling down the ceiling. Weapons, I sense. Are you all right? Come on, We can do this. I know we can. He's up there, on the balcony. Come on! Enough, Berther. Give us the bow.
How dare you? I was the arch-curate of Ariel, girl. I had the ears of a god.
Until the betrayed corrupted you. Yes, yes, we've heard this sad story.
Gelibor and his kind are easily manipulated fools. Look into my eyes, Serana. You tell me what I am.
You're a vampire. But Ariel should have protected you.
The moment I was infected by one of my own initiates, Ariel turned his back on me. I swore I'd have my revenge, no matter what the cost.
You want to take revenge? On a god?
Ariel himself may have been beyond my reach, but his influence on our world wasn't. All I needed was the blood of a vampire and his own weapon, Ariel's bow.
The blood of a vampire. Ariel's bow. It was you? You created that prophecy?
A prophecy that lacked a single final ingredient. The blood of a pure vampire. The blood of a daughter of Cold Harbor.
You were waiting all this time for someone with my blood to come along. Well, too bad for you. I intend on keeping it. Let's see if your blood has any power to it. I'm calling it this one. Good night.
So the deed has been done. The restoration of this way shrine means that Werther must be dead, and the betrayed no longer have control over him. What? What are you talking about? A vampire. I see. That would explain much. Deep inside, it brings me joy that the betrayed weren't to blame for what happened here. Because that means there's still hope that they might one day shed their hatred and learn to believe in Ariel once again. It's been a long time since I felt that way, and it's been long overdue. My thanks to both of you. You risked everything to get Ariel's bow, and in turn, you've restored the Chantry. I can't think of a more deserving champion to carry it than you. If you wish to learn more about the bow, or obtain sun-hallowed arrows for it, I'd be more than happy to help. You've but to ask.
It's not as shiny as I was expecting. Still, it's beautiful. Well, before we spoke to my mother in the soul cairn, I would have said we bring the bow to my father. But after everything with her, I don't think we can trust him.
I keep thinking that there's got to be another way, but he'll turn on us both the moment he gets the chance.
No, he has to die. We have no choice. Thank you. Somehow, I knew you'd understand. Barkeep, I'd like a drink.
Of course.
Thanks.
Don't like those eyes you got. There's a bad hunger. Take a look.
Yeah,
You know, even an age-old vampire can appreciate a quiet place to unwind. Oh? What is it? Sure thing. Do you want to have it standing here, or do you want to find a seat first? Alright. Now, on to the drinks. Do you want to have mead, wine, or just plain milk? Okay then. Likewise. Our adventuring has been getting more tiring lately. It's as if the world is responding to your growing power. As you get stronger, enemies get stronger. Which is why moments where I get to drink with you are all the more lovely. Finally, a time to rest and just relax. I was just thinking about some alchemical principles. Comprehension, destruction, and reconstruction. You first need to understand the structure of what you're trying to transmute. Like what wheat is made out of, and how those properties fit into making a health potion. Then there's deconstruction. You break down the wheat into a more malleable state along with the other ingredients. Finally, there's reconstruction. You use the energy and materials created from the deconstruction to make what you're trying to make, like the health potion. So, what do you want to talk about now? Well, this one is a hard one. While I do like Ultmer wine, I would have to say the crown goes to Cyrodiilic brandy. The texture is just so unique. The flavors are strong, but not overpowering, and it sort of has a nutty, chocolatey aftertaste. Though, it doesn't help that the brandy is so hard to find in Skyrim these days. Alright. So, what do you want to talk about now? I have, actually. But not before I get to explore the rest of Tamriel. Besides those distant lands, there's a lot else to explore, you know? The delicacies and culture of High Rock, the dense forests of Balinwood, the imperial city of Cyrodiil, or even Skyrim, by the Maker. I've spent most of my life cooped up in a dusty old tower. Almost everything is new nowadays. Alright. So, what do you want to talk about now? I feel sad for her. She's been through a lot, I can tell. Whether it be the death of her husband Torrid, or having to govern the entire province of Skyrim in the midst of a civil war and a looming threat of a Thalmor invasion. However, I'm confident she'll get through this. She's strong, and hardship breeds endurance. Alright. So, what do you want to talk about now? Yeah. It's not the most comforting thought, but it's a reality I'll have to face eventually. Seeing as how I'm a vampire, my soul will most probably end up in Cold Harbor. If I could, though, I would like to potentially alter that fate. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy my vampire powers, but I hate what it's done to my family, and who I ultimately have to submit to. Alright. So, what do you want to talk about now? Wow. Looks like you're in a philosophical mood tonight. In terms of what I think, everyone is born as a blank slate. An infant, for example, doesn't know their right hand from their left. You can't hold them accountable for anything, because they can't grasp the concept of what is good and what is evil. However, When you get to a certain age, you start learning these things. That's when people can start erring towards the more good part of the spectrum, or quite the opposite. However, once you're on a certain end of this spectrum, it doesn't mean that you'll stay this way for the rest of your life. Some people rise as heroes and die as villains. Others, they work to overcome their evil with great effort. It's nice, spending time like this, just having drinks together. Nice clothes. Doesn't it feel better to be able to move freely and casually? Another day in Skyrim. I'm still trying to decide which is more unpredictable, the weather or the inhabitants. I don't think you can ever be ready to kill your parent. I'm just doing my best not to think of him as my father anymore. I hope so. Nothing else then?
I'll try and make this quick.
ハルメル、錬金術に使うくらいでしたら耳で十分です。
Take him to Bo immediately.
Present the bow to Lord Harkon at once.
Sit down and enjoy yourself. There's plenty for all.
I leave politics to others. I serve the Lord of the Castle.
Our Lord will be most pleased, I'm sure. I knew you could do it.
Find Lord Harkon. Let him know the time of the prophecy is at hand.
Ariel's bow is ours. Deliver it to Lord Harkon at once, so we can reap the benefits of this prophecy.
I'm sure Lord Harkon will be most pleased with your efforts. Find him at once. I'm sure your reward will be great for ensuring our Lord's success. Oriel's power is ours.
Go find Lord Harkon. Tell him of your success.
This isn't really a good time.
All right with me.
Oriel's bow. Well done indeed.
So, you've returned. Is your pet keeping you entertained?
You know why we're here.
Of course I do. You disappoint me, Serana. You've taken everything I provided for you and thrown it all away for this pathetic half-breed vampire.
Provided for me? Are you insane? You've destroyed our family. You've killed other vampires, all over some prophecy we barely understand. No more. I'm done with you. You will not touch her.
So, I see this dragon has fangs. Your voice drips with the venom of your mother's influence. How alike you've become.
No. Because unlike her, I'm not afraid of you. Not anymore.
And you. It appears I have you to thank for turning my daughter against me. I knew it was only a matter of time before your ambition outgrew your loyalty. A small price to pay for the betterment of our kind. Oh, come now. Spare me your notions of kinship. You've simply used Serana in an attempt to take away what should rightfully be mine. The vampire is eternal, and with immortality comes the revelation that these bonds never endure. It's fleeting, momentary at best. Yes, quite. I'm growing weary of speaking to you and my traitorous daughter. I'll give you a single chance to turn over the bow to me. There will not be a second.
Very well, then. You leave me no choice.
Come on.
Lord Harkon defeated. I never imagined I'd see the day. My lady, you have my deepest sympathies. I am sure this was not easy for you.
He was out of control, Garen. It had to be done. I'm not happy about this. He was still my father. But I suppose my father really died a long time ago. This was just the end of something else.
Of course, my dear. All will be well now.
それは父の赤ビル風ですのね。今となってはどうしてなのかはわかりませんけれど、あなたならきっと使いこなしてくれるでしょう。ありがとう。あなたに託しますわ。
My congratulations on defeating Harkon. Clearly, you are the superior vampire.
I'm not sure. I'll probably stay here for as long as they'll let me. I think we can rebuild here. Make my family's legacy something more respectable. Of course, if you've got any more adventures planned. That's what I wanted to hear. Sounds good.
「清掃の書は長い間訓練の重ねた僧侶がようやく読み取ることができるもの。並の人間では到底扱える品ではございませんわ。
What now?
Are we ready then?
I saw more than enough political maneuvering in my time in House Dress. Now that the castle is yours, I was wondering, would you be interested in having the passage to the courtyard restored? Harkon clearly never cared much for it. It would be my pleasure.
So, the courtyard entrance
I have never understood the Nord fascination with weapons. Speak with Fura Bloodmouth. She has something for you.
Perhaps we can rebuild
Until
here.
next
Shape
time.
my family's legacy into something more respectable.
私の人形だなんてこんなもの作って。
Hello, friend. All right, then.
I hope you find life in the castle to be to your liking. I look forward to our next meeting.
Can you imagine it? A world without a sun. We would all have been doomed, vampires and men alike.
This 吸血鬼と手こごいそうになりますのよ。ここに 名前バレについての本がありましたわ。吸血鬼の始まりを知りたいのならお読みになるといいですわ。
You appear to have something on your mind. What is it? What? Are you certain? Then I see nothing preventing my return to Tamriel. Allow me to gather some of my things, and I'll head back to Castle Volkvar. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. It might take decades to restore the castle to its former glory, but I appear to have plenty of time.
What's the plan? Alright. I have, actually. Have you ever read The Herbalist's Guide to Skyrim? Oh, well, then you should. It's a reference for all things alchemical in the land of Skyrim. Well, at least most of the big ones. Jazbay, Bleeding Crown, Nirnroot, Death Bell. So many different types of ingredients and properties. It's truly fascinating. The illustrations are so vivid, and pretty accurate too. Forgive me, I get carried away when I talk about these things. I read it after you brought me back home for the first time. The castle certainly hasn't aged well, but at least someone's been updating our family library. This book was on my rather long reading list, because, you know, I only have 1,000 years worth of catching up to do. Both fun and not fun. Even for a bookworm such as myself, this was quite overwhelming.
Mama に私の人形を見せたら、なんて言われるかしら。想像したくはありません。
It might take decades to restore the castle to its former glory, but I appear to have plenty of time. Help yourself to anything you need in my laboratory. Well, I think it's time I got back to my work as an alchemist. The Soul Cairn will offer a unique opportunity to continue my studies, and I intend to complete my research. In the meantime, if there are any potions you might need, feel free to help yourself.
「吸血鬼は夜の方が得意ですのよ。
fan of the sun, but it would be better than this. Do you need something? Not much, because there isn't really anything to do when you live on an island. And yes, on rare occasions I did travel to Skyrim with my father, on business. By which I mean intimidation, scheming, bribery, blackmail, an execution or two. You know, your typical chores of a Volkihar patriarch. And he did teach me some of those skills, if you could put it that way. But I didn't really do anything fun for the most part. I definitely didn't have a normal childhood. I guess that's what you get for being a follower of Molag Bal. Though, besides the typical gardening and reading, I also did sing quite a bit. I wasn't nearly good enough to join the Bard's College, but I was pretty decent at it, and it made me feel less lonely. Tell you what, give me some time to warm up a bit on the side, and maybe I'll sing something for you.
どこへ行きますの？吸血鬼でも鼻をめでる心はございますわ。
Thank you. For, well, everything. You've made my world brighter.
そう。これは生ものですから。たとえ爆物玉。放っておけばきっと。
Back with more flattery, I see.
Once again, the Elder Scrolls have...
none can deny your power now. A feral-blooded has holed up with a group of bandits. Likely wants to create a nest of broodlings. We don't need competition for blood, and we don't want the mortals getting up in arms making things difficult for us. Go destroy the feral beast before this becomes a problem. Bleed Skyrim dry.
これが逃亡生活。よくある話ですわ。自分で体験するとは思いませんでしたけれど。
Do you need help? You're looking a bit overloaded there.
待って、せっかちなんだから。カニスの根はお茶になるそうですけれど、飲む人の気が知れませんわ。麻痺の薬の材料ですのよ。味もそれなりですわ。
I'll try and make this quick.
won't leave here alive! You won't get the best of me! That's your best, huh?
私たちは招かれざる客ですわ。お忘れなきよ。
I don't converse with my prey.
Is someone there?
Ah, the smell here. Let's try to handle this quickly.
No more! I yield! I yield! No! I fought worse than you!
Converse with my prey.
This is the lair. Now, let's kill the vampire before he turns more of his allies.
I don't converse with my prey.
物騒な場所ですよ。何があってもおかしくありませんのよ。
I won't hide down here forever. Gather a few. Of the brethren, we'll strike it. On our own. I don't converse with my prey.
気をつけ。吸血鬼はニンニクに弱い。ありえませんわね。でも苦手な吸血鬼がいても別段不思議ではありませんわ。
None can deny your power now. Good work. It's always best to deal with a problem by ripping it out at the root. Speak with Ferran Sadri. He has something for you. Bleed Skyrim dry.
Life here has many advantages, don't you agree? The Dawn Guard have increased their operations and have been aggressively recruiting.
「 The Dawn Guard have increased their operations and have been aggressively recruiting.
「 The Dawn Guard have increased their operations and have been aggressively recruiting. 「 The Dawn Guard have increased their operations and have been aggressively recruiting. We need to put a damper on their efforts and give those troublemakers something to worry about other than harassing our interests. You are to make a public show of murdering someone. Do it in the streets for all to see. The higher the profile, the better. Make it seem you are a member of the Dawn Guard, thus sowing confusion among the herd. Wear this armor and plant this note on the victim. You know, an important member of society. Someone attached to the Jarl's court. A merchant, a bard, a priest. Someone with stature. That will make them all the more upset to have one of their citizens slain, and under such flimsy pretense. Precisely. The people will put pressure on the Dawn Guard, who are apparently murdering their fellows without provocation. Their focus will be shifted from us, giving us one less nuisance to deal with. Good. I knew I was sending the right woman for the job.